Hey, what's up guys, Rado here with Dirt and Iron. Today we have this interesting project bike to review. This is 2017 Husqvarna 250 with 270 big bore kit. We're gonna look at it today, so stick around. This is the bike that was built by Jay Clark from Dirt Bike TV, and it started its life as a motocross bike. So first what he did was to turn this 250 motocross bike into a 270 motocross bike. So he did a big bore kit, Vortex did the ignition, he put new maps on this thing and put all the bells and whistles that you would have on your motocross bike. So full FMF system, a lot of aftermarket stuff, works connection things, and just your things you would do on the motocross bike. You don't need to have a lot of protection when you are on the track, right? So he rode it like that a little bit on the track, and then Jay wanted to try something new and wanted to turn this motocross bike into a trail bike. And that's many times what many of you would do. You do have your motocross bike, which is essentially cheaper, especially the used bikes. Used motocross bikes are cheaper than used off-road bikes. So you can pick up good 2015, 2013 motocross bike for 3,000, something like that. Depends on what kind of bike it is. And then you can spend a little extra money and you get yourself pretty good trail bike. So what was done to this bike to turn it into a really good trail bike, which we're gonna test in this video, is that the most important thing on any conversion from MX to trail is your suspension. Racetech did the suspension tuning, and also they tuned the bike on a dyno. This bike has a Vortex programmable ECU. Racetech put it on a dyno and tried to squeeze the most out of it. Cylinder Works did a 270cc kit for the engine. Bike has full FMF system, mega bump header and 4.1 RCT muffler, super sprockets, front and rear sprocket, IMS big tank, Works connection did all these aluminum pieces, front and rear brake caps, rotating bar clamp, steering stem nut, all filter cover. We're running Dunlop tires, front and rear, Scar foot pegs. TM Design Works did a rear chain guide and also rear disc and master guard. Tusk complete wheel set, 18 in the back, 21 in the front. Hinson clutch components, full clutch and a clutch cover. ICW did the radiators, made some custom bracing on it. Pro Motobillet kickstand, which works really great. Now Cycra did all full plastic kit, hoses, radiator cap, also your rubber on handguards and plastic skid plate. Bulletproof designs, rear swing, arm guard and linkage guard. A lot of bells and whistles on this bike. Looks really sweet, looks really nice. Motoseat did the seat, and Decal Works did the graphics, so everything looks nice. I'm kind of afraid to scratch it, but Jay told me don't worry, go for it, scratch it, we don't mind, that's what dirt bikes are for. So I don't worry, take it for a ride. Let's take it for something faster, something slower, something technical, all kinds of different trails, and let's see how this thing performs, how the MX bike turned into a trail bike would behave on the trails I know. There is this little section in the beginning, there is a drop like maybe 4 or 5 feet. I used to ride down that drop, but now I jump it like I started last year. Like this one right here, check it out. Woohoo! So much nicer if you jump that thing. It doesn't look like much, but when you're on the bike, it is scary. Like first time when I did it, I was really scared, and then it gets easy. Alright, so let's see how this bike does here. I'm running a trials tire. It's actually also first time for me to run the tire on a dirt bike on the trails. Well, my first impression right away, suspension is really nice. It's soft, eating these bumps on the trails. Also, it did well on the big jump. I just did on the waterfall, not a big, but quite a big. But it works really nice on this kind of bumpy road. It's eating the little obstacles, this little sand section. really nimble, really light. You know, 254 strokes, especially European bikes, they're really light. High speed, feels pretty planted. So this is an MX bike, doesn't have very slow first gear, and this trail is very technical. You need to be first gear on the clutch quite a bit. So let's give it a shot and see how it goes. Yeah, the tire is grabbing really nice on these rocks. Now some sections are a little faster. I'm in a third gear right now. Some a little bit tighter, like this one. Okay, in this kind of deep dirt or sand, whatever you call it, I feel like my rear tire is behaving kind of weird way. When it slides, it wants to go to the side. It doesn't stay in a straight slide, which is not the best. I guess a travel tire is not really meant for deep stuff. The bike is fine, you know, I'm not even clutching it. The slow start first gear, look, it does okay. It's not dying. I have no clutch, you see, right? We can even try some hard enduro, just some light stuff, jumping some lags. You see, I'm avoiding the big ones, just doing the small ones. It's nice. Give it a little clutch and that one was okay too. Oh, that's okay. You got that tire that has good grip on stuff like that. Let's time it. Anything below 12 will be pretty good on this trail. I think my base was 11:30 or something like that. I'll check it. So let's see how this bike does. Last time I was here was a JS300 KTM. Again, tires and suspension are pretty good for this kind of riding. If I don't go down, we will have good time to compare to my other bikes. somebody put a big rack on the top of that obstacle. That's usually where I go. My GoPro died, so I had to change the battery. Guys, look at the time. 10:58. This is the time I stopped when I finish right over there. Best time ever on this trail. It was my goal for like 2 years to go below 11 minutes. Finally, I'm able to do it on a bike that is not even mine. So that tells a lot about is it okay to change MX bike into trail bike? I would say if you know what you're doing, you get yourself a really good trail bike. I just came back from a ride. I'm still in my gear. I wanted to keep it fresh, so I want to talk to you. Man, I have to tell you, I had a really blast. You can see on the video. I went everywhere. I went on the slow first gear stuff. I went on a fast connecting trails. I went on the gnarly downhills and pretty much everywhere. I even went on the backyard motocross track. I got a couple jumps here, some doubles, some tabletops, few turns. Double. Coming to a turn. Man, love the suspension here. Coming to a flat turn in the first gear. My whoops, which I hate. My table. All right, that was just like a small thing I did here. That table actually I was a little bit long. I landed flat, but suspension did a great job. Man, this baby still remembers. It's a former MX bike. This bike did really good on all kinds of different trails. I was really surprised. You know, sometimes usually it takes some time for a new bike. You kind of get used to it. But this bike, I felt really good. I felt really good from the beginning, and I could push it a little bit faster, a little bit longer. Man, you can see on that trail that I usually check my time. I did 11:58, which is amazing. I never did below 11:30, and I did. Not 11, I did 10:58, which is below 11 minutes. So it's 30 seconds better than my best time I had before. Man, I don't know, it just felt really good, and I was a little more confident I could keep my gas a little bit longer and then brake a little bit less, so definitely bike felt great. It's not very heavy, it's 252 stroke, so I mean 4 strokes, so it's not very heavy. It feels really nimble, plus with this 270 kit, it has a little more bottom than your normal 250 4-stroke. So it was good, it was okay. I mean, to be honest, I was missing the little bit of the power from the bottom. So when you are on this slow stuff and you need a little bit, you know, bottom on it, this bike has a lot of bottom, but I'm used to 450, so a little more bottom would be better, but it's not a big deal. It's something you can get used to. But overall, it's really great package. Suspension, I talk about it all the time, and I say again, that's the most important part. This suspension is dialed for that kind of riding, for trails, and I could go that much faster, have more fun, be safer, and just overall it's so much better. So if I'm going to spend money on the trail bike, the suspension will be #1 thing to do. All these things, the protection and everything, it's good, but suspension, that's the game changer. And the tire, you know, this is the first time I was on the trials tire, the D803 GP from Dunlop. It grips really well on the rocky stuff, and when I was doing these slow climbs through the rocks and technical terrain, it's really good. One thing though I didn't like that much was, and I crashed, I'll show you in the video. I guess the tire didn't do what I expected it to do, and it kind of slid. Alright, well, not a big deal, it's all soft. But yeah, I don't know. Another one for my fails. I crashed because as I was sliding my rear wheel downhill, my rear wheel wanted to go to the side. It happened to me like 3 times, and once actually it went to the point where I just fell over the bike because it was off camber, it was too steep. So it behaves a little bit differently than your regular knobby tire. If I slide my wheel with a knobby tire, it always goes straight, but on this one I felt it go a little bit to the side, and as I said, you know, in one occasion I get into trouble and I fell over a bike. Not a big deal, but definitely something you need to get used to, you need to count on it. So it's probably not a tire if you're a little bit faster or trail rider, like usually what I do, as you saw on these fire roads. Probably not the best tire for something like that. But those slower technical terrains, tire was amazing. I didn't feel any lag in the turns. I didn't feel that I'm losing, you know, grip in deeper things, a little bit sandy and stuff like that. The only thing I felt wasn't 100% was when I went going downhill and I slide my brake. So overall, man, it's a great bike. I had a lot of fun. It's 250 actually, 270, but it really has everything I need. It has power, it has good suspension, and definitely, you know, if you spend some money on a bike and tune it to your liking, add some things, especially suspension, and then, you know, FMF stuff, it really wakes the bike up, and I loved it. It was fun. This being a motocross bike, it's missing a 6th gear, which is not a big deal on the technical stuff, and the first gear you saw was pretty good. I mean, it was very slow. I could go even without a clutch and just do my turns on the first gear. That was pretty good. But on some of the faster trails, sometimes I want to get pinned, and having 6th gear wide ratio, a little bit longer 6th gear, would be a plus. So if you are changing your motocross bike into trails, you need to count on something like that, that you are missing that last long gear. Usually 5th, 6th are a little bit longer than your other gears. But if this bike has a 6th gear, it would be fun on the faster trails. You can keep the gas and just go a little bit faster. But overall, it's a great bike. If you guys are thinking, you know, to changing your MX bike into something like this and still be able to take it on the track. I went on my track and I did some jumps. I have like 30-40 foot jumps, and it was fine. The suspension did okay. I was not hitting any 100-foot, you know, gaps, nothing like that. But for your vet riders on the track, this would be fine if you have better tire. Alright my friends, well that's about it for today. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know below in the comments how you liked it, and don't forget, whatever you do, stay motivated. See you guys later.